So up next, we have Michael Kennedy, and he is the founder of Ostra Cybersecurity. And he's gonna take the stage in just a second. But before we do that and have his welcome music coming on, you see how we're already ready for him, right? Here's a couple of things that you should know about him. First and foremost, he is recognized as a cybersecurity industry trailblazer. He is the founder of Ostra Cybersecurity, a multi-layered and fully managed security as a service. Ostra's proprietary solutions combine Fortune 100 caliber tools, tech, and talent to ensure threats are not only detected and hunted, but also fully covered for businesses of all sizes. Now, previously, Kennedy built and scaled security platforms for Fortune 5 companies before setting out on a mission to protect small businesses. The idea for Ostra came from his insights gained under his 20-plus years of working for the world's largest healthcare provider. Now, Michael was responsible for the integration of complex data systems and protecting private data during business acquisitions. He oversaw more than 75 acquisitions and supported over 350,000 global employees, protecting sensitive health data and business functionality at tech integration. So that is his bio, but you're gonna hear from the man himself, and he has a really cool beard, by the way. I should have got the memo. I would have grew my beard too for this, because this is pretty amazing. But do me a favor, make sure he's warmly welcome. Please welcome the founder of Ostra Cybersecurity to the stage, Mr. Michael Kennedy.
Hearing that stuff, so sorry about that. I'm gonna try standing over here to see if I can get rid of it. Nope, sucks. Thanks for leaving me slides, Oscar. So all right, so I've never spoken at the Target Center, so this might be a little, in true honesty, this might be a little, it might go fast. I might be done in 2 minutes, or we might be here, and I might be getting pulled off the stage by Quinn. So I had to put a fish up there too. I'm a fisherman as well. I will tell you though that Oscar is way more an intense fly fisherman than I am. I think my fish might be a little bigger, his old one anyway, but that new brown trout that he caught this summer is a little bit bigger than my fish. So I know Quinn did an amazing job, so I won't go through this, but for me, this slide, because I've always really struggled, I'm gonna talk quieter. I've always really struggled with imposter syndrome. That echo is crazy. And this really isn't for me, it's to kind of remind everybody that we've all done really cool shit, and we should all have a brag slide, because we're all, great people, no matter where we are in our careers. I can guarantee that you're all very impressive individuals. So, transparency. It's not as, we kept talking about security is hard. It's similar to transparency. It's hard to find that transparency in this industry, especially in communicating, where's that fine line of, I need to tell you what happened and be involved in this breach, or kind of keep that stuff a little bit quiet. But also transparency as an industry in the tools, solutions that we provide, our sales tactics, our POs, monthly, just all the billing that we go through. When we have this, where there's mystery, there's margin. When you lump everything together in one line item on a rate card and you send it off to the customer and you say, oh yeah, your security, incident response is in there, your endpoint tools are in there, all these different things, and we'll just hide a little bit more in there and we can create margin. That creates a culture that causes a lot of distrust, and we see a lot of that. I don't know if there's a couple of social media people that talk a lot about the sales tactics, the distrust in the industry around what we provide as a service. And the unfortunate thing is we're trying to create that trust with these individuals so they trust, they listen to us. Like Oscar talked about backups. It's like, tape backups, I don't want to deal with tape anymore. MFA, maybe it doesn't really matter, or it's hard for CEOs to see something and click on it. But that transparency helps communicate those messages out to people. And really having this kind of transparency in our industry is really important to ensure that we are creating that trusted environment, that we're being open and honest, and people understand what we do. So how can we build this trust? How can we step up? These are 4 things that in my life that I try to live by, and then we also really try to permeate through our culture at Ostra. The biggest one is our value of do what we say we do. And when we get into like honesty, using common language. I'm going to quote Oscar a couple of times. I hope he doesn't mind. But when he talked about who do you call first if you have an incident, and we were talking about this last night at dinner with one of our partners. And you call your insurance provider, you call your lawyer, you call the FBI, you call your IT guy. Which one is it? Who are you supposed to call? How are you supposed to plan this stuff? Evan talks a lot about common language in our industry around just EDR, X, all those stupid acronyms that we have. MDR, ADR, XDR, AI, XDR now. The transparent sales and marketing tactics, non-predatory. This one, I'm kind of surprised I got asked back because last year I had started cussing and bad-mouthing stuff. So hopefully I don't do that this time as well. But this is something that, I just get so pissed off about these predatory, aggressive sales tactics. Going to individuals and then going around individuals because you're not getting that response. Or there's a vendor that we've worked with, and I've explicitly told them that never fucking call me again, or anybody in our organization. And internally, our sales team started getting harassed by these people. And so they're just using those fear tactics, that aggressiveness, these constant voicemails. Hey, you need to buy our services. You need to buy this. You're an idiot. The transparency in the services that they're providing as well. How many times have we bought something and it didn't live up to its expectations or live up to what we were sold? And then, here we are in a multi-year contract or hopefully not, and we end up in a situation where we have products or solutions that aren't protecting us. The other pieces around this too is, going into just awareness. We're not, Ostra is not the best fit for all companies. We stay in a very specific space. We do security as a service, but we don't do vulnerability scanning. We don't do incident response or pen testing. We don't do these things. And we get asked that a lot of well, could you help us patch our servers? Could you do this X, Y, Z? And it's very important to have that awareness that we stay in our lane and communicate that to customers. We're not going to lie to a client. I'm not going to lie. But we see that a lot in this industry is, nobody's not ideal or perfect for everyone. The other side of this too is, constantly learning, growing, trying to, stay ahead of the, oh boy. I should take a water real quick. Stay ahead of the industry, but also learning and creating those learnings out for our clients and customers as well. Because we're only in this to make sure that we protect our clients and then their clients. We don't want to have that dreaded phone call that somebody has a BEC, that they clicked on something, they gave up their credentials. Being aware of that it is just very important. Accountability, educating. I am the last person that a team wants to take on a sales call because I'll essentially talk you out of what you're buying from us, and I'll suggest other vendors. And for those of you who know, I've done that a few times with some people in here. Because that's more important. Know your environment, know your vendors, know what you're buying, how is it serving you, and what are the things that you can do to improve that. You don't need us if you just need to turn on MFA. We'll show you where to click and turn it on for you and maybe give you some templates to communicate out to people. And the same kind of thing, you know, Oscar has the FRSecure has all the different incident response plans, the different communications. You know, that should be the most important piece, is that education, because we can all get better. Collaborating and seeking, you know, partnerships with others in the industry. It goes back to my other comment about we're not a perfect fit for everybody, but there's somebody that's an adjacent in our industry that is a perfect fit. And it's okay to direct people to them, you know, because if they're a good company and a good organization and a good partner, then that's going to be successful to protect that business. We shouldn't be about this aggressive, I need to make sales, I need to make sales, I need to make sales. It should be about how are we changing this industry? How are we becoming, a better organization and a better industry together? Last, donating time and talent resources. This is all the capture the flag. This is the internships, the mentors. It's working with other organizations, clients to I'd rather sit down and help you set up your MFA than charge you to set up MFA, because it's not that hard. I know Oscar said security is hard. It's really not. It's just, it takes time. There's enough people in this room or this stadium that could help with that. So hopefully Oscar doesn't push me into a river later. But this donating time, bettering the industry, the giving resources to help, we should take it upon ourselves to show up and do that. And how can we reach out to newcomers in this industry? How can we share that load as well? So transparency, receiving constructive feedback. So my favorite thing to say is, and I was telling somebody earlier, and I don't think they caught it, but I held a flashlight for my dad when I was a kid. And for those of you that held a flashlight for your dad when you were a kid, you know that you can get yelled at and, fuck dad. He probably got it shined in his eyes a couple of times, but, you know how to get feedback and how to get yelled at. So my feelings have already been hurt throughout my entire life. I can take constructive feedback and be able to give that back out to people. I usually start with a certain line that one of our sales guys loves, but I am not afraid to tell you that you need to manage your vendors a little bit better, or you need to, why is it so hard to? We'll just screen share and we'll turn on your MFA for you. Just call me up. I'll send you a Zoom free of charge. Well, I'll show you how to do it, and then we'll give you the communications to roll it out. The other piece is sharing critical info with competitors and vendors. This is, I find personally a tremendous value in the conversations that I have with Oscar and his team around what we're seeing in the industry, what our customers are seeing, what's happening, and getting that feedback on, oh, hey, look at this. Maybe you should turn on this. Maybe you should address this issue, that type of stuff. Because really, we come down to the same core, and I'll quote the FR as, to fix a broken industry. That's our core mission here, right? For all of us, because we're all here because of them and this event series they have. But our goal is to engage with our partners, our vendors. Our goal is to engage with our customers, non-customers, people we know, and really try to figure out how we can work together to build this, culture of, that transparency, this honesty, the constructive feedback, and kind of that, to have that self-awareness. So I ended up talking fast. How many minutes do I have left? 15 minutes. All right. So the 4 key ingredients, I'm not going to really recap those. I mean, we talked about them enough. The big thing here for me is probably the mental health. This first line, thoughts of impending doom, does not mean doom is impending. That is, so my ADD kicked in sometime this morning. I don't know where I parked my car. I know it's in one of the ramps over here. I know it's either A or B. I don't know what floor it's on, but I know it's a white Suburban. So I might have to enlist. Oh, you're in B? Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll just circle the parking ramp until we can find it. So that mental side of those thoughts of impending doom that come into those fears, those anxieties, the coming here and hearing myself echo through the Target Center, does not mean doom is impending. It means I can't trust my thoughts and feelings. And so this is very important, at least for me, and what I try to do really to permeate it out in when I talk and when I engage with people, is that it's normal. Normalizing talking about how we feel. And Ben said I could call him out wherever you are. We had a chat last night, and we started talking about some of this stuff in the mental health, and I started talking about my kids and communicating with them and what are they going through, and how as individuals do we build those relationships that we can trust people. Similar to having the honesty, the transparency, the self-awareness. How do you build those relationships so that you can talk about the mental health side of things, so those thoughts of impending doom, that I can talk to someone about, that I'm afraid that I lost my car, or I have to come up here and talk and in front of a bunch of people. And to normalize that. It's normal to feel that way. It's normal to have that tightness in your chest or the stomach. That stuff is natural. It's what we do with those things and how we address those pieces. And then how we engage, how we open up, and how we share, how you build those relationships. And I really, the most important piece for me in that is, by coming up here and sharing about I struggle with this, that I struggle with these things, and talk about it, because I want people to feel comfortable that if they don't have anybody to reach out to or they don't have anybody to talk to, we all do those, CTFs, we all, do the human trafficking, capture the flags. We get involved with the stuff that we see in this industry, the stuff that we see. And some of us are introverts. We tend to isolate a little bit, but getting us out and getting us into this dialogue and this communication, and knowing that it's okay to feel this way, and it's okay to reach out to someone and call, or send me an email, shoot me a LinkedIn note, send me a text message. It might take a month to reply, but I'll get to it, and I'll reply, and engaging in that. Well, that's about it, I guess. Do I have a lot more time? I told Rachel I was going to give her some time. So, thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing that information with us. It's interesting because I do a lot of conferences, and it's really rare that you have men who are talking about mental health. So I really did enjoy the mental health moment, and as he was talking and we are here and there is a definite echo and there's lights and there's people looking at you, one of the things, public speaking is definitely still the number one fear of all Americans. Even if you do see someone on stage, it doesn't mean that people still don't get butterflies. Like, we still do get butterflies when we speak. My goal is to make sure that these butterflies are not crashing into each other, but flying in formation, right? Because they never go away. So I just appreciate your vulnerability as well as some of the information that you gave us today. Can we give him one more round of applause?